Hello and welcome back to Havoc, and in the previous episode we managed to take over this entire portion of territory and consolidate our own, which is obviously perfect. This is pretty much the perfect situation. Unfortunately, I'm gonna give myself probably an 8 out of 10 for my performance in consolidation, because here's the thing, we obviously missed out on taking this town because the faction of Hongueros, they decided to come over here and, well, they interfered a little bit where they were not asked to, of course. I mean, that is to be expected from the AI. They are going to take advantage of these kinds of opportunities, and unfortunately I didn't notice in time. Very, it's very frustrating for me, but it's okay, because we still did a pretty good job. We got a bunch of additional fiefs for our clan members. These guys are going to be building up their armies, building up their renown and wonderful influence and all that great stuff. Anyway, here we have the guy, and if you've seen the previous episode, you know what I'm talking about. This fellow is the leader of his faction, and I wanted to make peace with him in the previous episode. And you know what he said to me? I'm gonna have to check with my council and see what they say about peace. And then he checked with his council. Obviously this doesn't take very long. And yeah, the reason why it doesn't take very long is because he is the only one that can actually make that decision. He's the only clan within his faction. So it kind of, it's like, I don't know, I'm not sure if I can actually, can I find any parallels in a real world situation? You know, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, let me see if I can get a good analogy going on here. It's kind of like speaking to someone on the phone, and then they go, oh yeah, no problem, I'll go and get my manager. And then they come back, and then it's the same person, you know. It's kind of like, I mean, that is admittedly very funny, but the fact is, this guy literally could have just made peace with us, and I mean, he's not going to get anything from being at war against us. I'm pretty sure he's not going to get anything, at least. I mean, I would very much hope he isn't, because if he does, then we are failing on a monumental scale. We really do not want to be in a situation where he, of all people, would be able to take something from us, because his faction is quite literally having, I think, 200 combat strength or something near to that. I'm not entirely sure, but it is very minuscule, let's just say that. And so it's going to be, well, it would be a travesty, really, if we were to allow him to take something. There we go, there's my bow skill. Finally, we finally reached 275 in bows. Oh, it's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, it's been a very long time for us to get that. And bear in mind, this is with increased experience gain as well, you know? I'm very, very transparent when it comes to the experience gains and the various things that I have set up here. Obviously, the main reason that I want to be transparent is because I want you to know that it's not going to be this easy if you're playing without any mods. Let's just say that. And I mean, here's the thing. It's not, so to speak, easy, but it does make it more streamlined for someone that is making a series. And obviously I'm making a series, so it kind of makes sense. But you also have to bear in mind that all of those experience gains, they are also applied to every single unit, including vassals and things like that, on the world map. As far as I'm aware, the description, shall we say, of the various bonuses that you can get through Chaos's tweaks is that it is global. It is completely global and will affect absolutely every single unit, including, you know, regular units and all that wonderful stuff. Obviously, they will not gain skills. I'm not saying that they will gain skills, but what I'm saying is that they will gain more experience if you increase the experience gain from anything. So it pretty much makes it possible for enemies to gain faster armies, or should we say gain faster high tier units, as well as yourself. So if you terribly want to nerf the AI, so for example, let's say that you I don't know, let's say you're not very good at the game. Like me, you know, I'm okay, you know, I'm kind of decent sometimes, but other times I'm just downright awful. But let's just say that you've just started playing the game and you want to play with some mods or whatever, and you don't feel too confident in your, I don't know, in your combat skills, and you're consistently coming up against vassals that have significantly strong armies. They have, I don't know, 50 elite, you know, really high tier units, and yeah, of each type, that's what I'm talking about. So let's say that they have, like, I don't know, 250 total, and 150 of those are high tier. And you're thinking to yourself, how am I supposed to defeat these guys? You know what I mean? So technically what you can do is, through Chaos's tweaks, you can make it so that your auto-resolve experience, because as far as I am aware, the AI only auto-resolves when they're on the world map. As far as I'm aware, that is how it goes, because obviously they cannot possibly do the simulation. Like, the game engine cannot do the simulation of the AI going into a real-world battle. So they just have to take from the auto-resolve and the related mechanics in regards to that. So in other words, when you're wanting the AI to be a little bit less quick at getting high-tier units, I mean, you've seen, for example, Monchug. He had, I think, 74 heavy horse archers when he wanted to attack us, and I thought to myself, whoa, that guy means business, doesn't he? Yeah, he means a huge amount of business. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I obviously have auto-resolve experience on a slightly increased level, as well as regular battles on a slightly increased level. So the AI is also going to be benefiting from that. They will definitely be benefiting from the auto-resolve experience. So for example, I actually did some testing a while ago, and I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to try and increase the experience of the auto-resolve, because I wanted just to see what would happen. And the amount of experience gain was increased by, I think, 600% or something like that. And obviously this is not something that I would recommend you do generally, because unless you want the AI to be extremely powerful or really, really quick at gaining very high tier units very fast, then yeah, I would recommend not doing it. But let's just say that you yourself are primarily speccing into, I don't know, tactics. Then it could make sense. You know, it could make sense to do something like that if you want to have really high tier battles really quickly. I don't know. Not sure why you'd want to do that. But anyway, the point is, what you can do is you can go into Chaos's tweaks regularly, and then you can actually make it so that your auto-resolve experience is quite low, and in regards to that, you can then make it so that the AI is a bit slower. But obviously, it is a double-edged sword in that respect, where you are also going to have a slower experience gain when you go into auto-resolve. Obviously, this is very much a case of, well, you know, maybe it will work like this now, but maybe it won't work like this in the future, because obviously things are always constantly changing within Bannerlord. You know, the developers are making changes here and there, mod creators are making some changes, and they may, you know, decide that this particular mechanic is something that they don't want to keep in there or something. I don't know, but the fact is, it's there at the moment, and yeah, so if you're having difficulties with high tier units, you may want to consider that, because obviously the game is so incredibly customizable, and that's actually one of the wonderful things about it. You know, you can customize, you can mod it, you can do whatever you really want to do with it, and you can create a completely custom experience to whatever you want it to be. And I really, really love that about the game. I feel like they've done a great job with that, and talking about the modding community, of course, and even just basically enabling modding here, because technically we've seen some games in recent memory, and I'm not gonna say, well, I mean, maybe I should say, because I don't actually play the game, and I haven't played the game, but yeah, there was a recent title in the Aliens universe, and the developers decided that they would initially allow modding And everyone was really pleased with that, because what that does is it basically makes it possible for the community to create content for that game and extend the life cycle of it by almost infinite amount. You know, we know how that can be. You know, if you've been around since Warband times, and indeed if you've been playing Bannerlord, then you know that modding, you know, I mean, obviously these are not the only games that have modding. I mean, Skyrim is obviously one of the biggest examples of how modding can significantly increase the lifespan of a game. But anyway, what I'm saying is about that Aliens game, basically the developers decided that they would disable modding for the foreseeable future. And that has basically, well, I wouldn't say it's killed the game, but I would definitely say that it has rubbed people the wrong way, and yeah, it's actually sad. It's actually really, really sad, because it could have been a fantastic entry in the Alien series, and it actually is. It's got some good gameplay, solid gameplay, and all that wonderful stuff, but unfortunately, because no mods, it's very much reliant on the modding, not on the modding, on the development team to make content for it. And obviously, you know, game development takes a long time, and there's only so much you can do with a team of people at any one time. Sometimes you just can't stretch yourself that thinly. And yeah, so that's the reason why having modding is so amazing, and having a customizable experience is so good, because then you're easily going to be able to do these things. You're going to be able to extend the lifespan of a game so dramatically. Anyway, oh, they're calling for a policy. This is interesting. Okay, I'm kind of surprised. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about this. Sure, influence of the ruler clan is reduced by 1 per day. That doesn't really make any difference to me. And they require 10% less influence. And I'm actually going to be placing Eilina in here, mostly because we really do need a little bit of help. Makeb is having some issues. I'm not entirely sure why we're having issues. I mean, you can see here, the garrison is making it so that it is -15. It might be, I mean, it's not only going to be that. Prosperity is also taking a pretty significant hit, but that is only because of the food shortage. So I'm actually wondering what we need to do to make this problem go away, because it is minus. Actually, I guess it's the garrison, right? This is really weird, actually, because there's only 300 units here. I wouldn't have expected this to be a big problem. Only 300, you know. It's not really that big a deal, in my opinion, but okay, apparently it is. So what I'm going to do, gonna take some of these guys out of here, and I'm actually thinking of getting rid of more, but the problem with that is that I'm then going to leave my forces pretty sparsely defending this area, which is obviously not what I want. But let's just see if I can maybe make a bit of a difference here. So I'm gonna make it 201, and that's pretty much, actually, wait a minute, that's Balticand. I'm doing the wrong thing here. Aha, haha, so great, so great. Okay, let's go to 200, there we go, and that should be fine, or at least I hope it's going to be fine. Now what we're going to do with these guys is I'm basically just going to let them go. There really is nothing I can do with them, unfortunately, because, as I've said before, my garrisons are pretty much full up. The only thing I could do with them is I could create a party. I'm actually wondering, maybe I should create a party. Okay, I'm not gonna be lazy about this, okay? We're not gonna be lazy about this. Let me see if I can actually find someone that could be useful. This guy might be okay. I need someone with decent... Wait a minute. Are these guys actually... Yeah, these guys are all wanderers, so this could be really, really good. Okay, this guy's got leadership, and he's also got tactics. Okay, so I'm gonna speak to him right away. There we go. Hello, sir. And we're just gonna make him almost immediately into a party leader, but I am going to obviously need to get him some gear. So what does he actually need? He uses one-handed. Okay, so let's give him some really, really good one-handed weapon. Let's give him a Fine steel saber. Why not? Let's give him a steel round shield. I'm gonna spend quite a bit on this guy, just generally because I have the money to spare and I might as well, you know? I mean, we're gonna get into another war situation relatively soon too, so there's also that. Anyway, does he have any ranged skills? Okay, he has no ranged skills, so I'm gonna actually give him a long glaive, because he needs a polearm of some kind, I guess, and we do actually need a saddle. Let's buy one of these for him, I guess. There we go. All right, so let's take a look at the armor. I'm gonna very quickly do this. It shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna go for one of these. A helmet has already been gained. Some gloves, chest piece, shoulders, and boots. And there we have it. Okay, perfect. Fantastic. All right, so now we're just going to get rid of all this, and we're just going to sell all that, sell all this, and there we go. Okay, so we paid 79,000 for that. Not bad, if I do say so myself. And we are now going to be making him into a party, and hopefully he will have enough space to take all of these units. If he doesn't have enough space, then we're just going to have to let some of them go. Yeah, he has 95, so that's not obviously going to be enough. But, oh well. Can't really do much about that. Yes, so he only has enough for another 10. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's perfectly fine. He's going to go and run around doing whatever it is parties do. Hopefully it's going to be something good. And we're just going to let 50 of them go. There we are. All right, so the best thing we can do now, where do you want to go? That's the thing. We have... I don't really want to go after the Neretzes clan because it basically makes no sense. Or at least I feel like it makes no sense. I feel like the best way for us to go right now is to actually expand into Sturgian territory, because they're kind of... Wait a minute. Okay, that's actually really interesting. This clan, a while ago, and I'm talking about maybe an in-game month ago, only had control of 2 or 3 fiefs. Now they have control of almost the entirety of the northern area. So I'm actually really interested to see what we can do about these guys. So I'm probably going to be declaring war against them in just a second, and otherwise we'll see what they have for us. I mean, this is definitely going to be pretty fun as well, because we actually do get to go into the snow, and going into snow is always much more fun, in my opinion, than fighting in Greenland all the time. I mean, it's nice to fight in greenery and so on and so forth, but it's nice to have a change too. Anyway, we're going to be picking up the 275 bow perk, which does give me additional speed and damage, which is always nice. And otherwise, what do we want to go for here? Construction speed is increased. Town projects are 10% more effective. I mean, this is governor stuff, so I really just have to look at the other thing. Prisoners in your party provide carry capacity as if they are a normal troop. I guess I'll just take that, just in case. But, yeah, none of that's really going to make that much difference, I don't think. Anyway, let's go over here to... I'm actually wondering whether I should just attack the castle straight away and then just move on to the nearest available fief, or whether I should do something else. I'm wondering, actually. Let me take a look at these guys. Because they might have... No. Okay, it's just one guy. Look at that. It's just one guy. Well, it's just one clan, shall we say. It's one clan against everyone else by the looks of things. He's been doing... Oh, he has an insanely large clan. What's actually going on with this? That's amazing. Okay, no wonder he's doing so well, to be honest. No wonder. All right, so let's just take a look at the diplomacy screen. So where is he? He is here. He's at war against quite a few different people. And as you can see, my forces are dramatically saying yes. Oh yes, very, very emphatically, in fact. And yeah, you can see here that my total strength is now at 7,600. It may actually be the case that we do not have anyone in the entire game that is going to be able to stand up to us. Ooh, these guys are actually looking pretty good. As you can see, they're probably going to get stronger. Usually, as... that is the, well, that's kind of one of the main points of this particular mod, you know, the World War mod. It basically makes it so that every single person, or should we say every single clan and faction, has an equal opportunity at the very start, unless obviously they have a a big deficit when they begin, where they have only one castle or one town or something like that. But most of the time, everyone's going to be starting on the same even level. And then it's unfortunately a case, as time goes on, of the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Because if someone takes a significant loss in terms of their army being defeated, then that's usually the beginning of the end for that particular faction, unless they have a very decent amount of units in their nearby garrisons, or they have a decent amount of vassals to fall back on. So it's kind of, it's a bit more of that, to be honest, which is unfortunate in my opinion. I'd love to see those kinds of clans come back and, you know, continue the fight. But obviously if they don't have the resources, then of course it's not going to happen. But, you know, it's very much a case of, well, if they make that decision in the first place to go into a fight that they can't possibly win in most cases, then, well, there's not much that can be done about them, I suppose. Anyway, this particular wall is only 30,000 HP, so I should be able to literally just bombard it down with 3 trebuchets, and then the 4th one will be done in just a second. I do need to be a bit careful about this though, because as we've seen in the past, there are a lot of opportunistic vassals and factions in and around the area, and if we allow them, they're going to take advantage of every single mistake that we make. In other words, let's just say that I weaken a particular I don't know, weaken a particular fief's garrison or their walls or something like that, then the AI is immediately going to think, wait a minute, I can take that. I can take that really easily. And then they're going to rush over here even faster, and it's just going to be one of those moments that we had in the previous episode where I'm waiting at this town for some reason, and then all of a sudden someone swoops in and does the siege before I can do it. Yeah, that was not a good feeling indeed, but it's fine, because I know in the end we will hopefully be able to fight them ourselves. Oh yeah, that new perk is feeling real good. Look at how much damage we're dealing right now. I mean, generally, I was kind of... What the? Who killed my horse? Was it a stone? I think it was a stone, actually. Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. Hello there, sirs. I'm going to shoot you in the knee. Oh, no, never mind. Okay, apparently I'm not. And my forces are now coming in here. Ah, yeah, my polearm is a little bit too long to be able to fit in these close quarters situations, so I'm definitely going to have to pull back and do a little bit of damage with my bow instead. I'm almost at 100 athletics, if you can believe it. I know we've mostly been fighting on horseback, but it's always fun when we actually do get a bit of a level up in the athletics tree, because there are going to be a whole bunch of perks later on that would be very advantageous for us. That's if we can even get there, to be fair. I'm actually wondering what I should do. You know what? I'm going to shoot at the enemy's archers. Not bad, not bad. Alright. Considering my view was half obscured right there, I was kind of just taking kind of pot shots right there, you know, not really thinking we're going to get any hits whatsoever, but we were able to get a couple of kills and weaken some of the rest, but unfortunately quite a few of them did manage to escape, which is going to in turn mean that they will be retreating to the keep, and as a result we'll need to go in there. I'm actually going to be doing that manually this time. Usually I don't tend to do that because, well, it's easy enough for me to just automatically resolve and go straight on in there, but I think it's actually quite fun to go into the keep, so that's exactly what we're going to do this time around. Wow, some nice hits right there, and it's super dark as well. I can very, very scarcely see the opponent, and, That's kind of difficult. That is actually kind of difficult. Oh well, there's not much more I can do except just flail wildly in the darkness and just hope that I'm actually going to be hitting something. Yep, there we go. Like that Sturgeon Archer. That guy, is that guy running? Oh, he's actually running. Wow. I don't think you have anywhere to go, sir. I don't think there's anywhere to retreat over there. Is there? Is there like a secret passage or something? Maybe you're gonna pull on a torch on the wall or something along those lines, and then all of a sudden a section of the wall is going to open up and lead you into a secret passage. I wouldn't be surprised, you know. The Sturgeons can be a little bit sneaky like that. But anyway, let me see if I can upgrade. I'm not going to take any prisoners right now because I don't really have the time or the, well, or the motivation, really, to go back to one of the towns nearby. I'm going to be claiming the fief, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to be keeping it. I'm just going to be, you know, improving it the best that I can, and then moving on and allowing someone else to take ownership. Now, here's the thing. I would very much like to try and persuade someone to join me, and I'm talking about a Sturgeon here, because obviously we are going to need a Sturgeon Lord to take over many of these fiefs, so that the loyalty doesn't become a problem. So that's a bit of a big issue, because I don't think I've really interacted with many Sturgeons, even though, actually, this is, oh yeah, I actually forgot about that. These two towns right here, these are actually Sturgeon culture, so it doesn't really matter because I'm obviously Khuzait culture at the moment, and I am the governor of these places, so I guess it actually doesn't make that much difference, but oh well, never mind. Maybe it's not necessary, but it would always be good for me to get additional units. So let me see. Additional clans could always be really, really nice for us. So I'm going to actually just see whether there's anyone... Oh, Godoon! Oh, no, never mind. He's the ruler. Okay. Forget him then, I suppose. I don't think there's going to be anyone else, unfortunately. This guy is obviously with us. I think I might just give it to Tazla, to be honest, because while he only has one fief. So it kind of makes sense, right? Oh, Tassanor might join us, actually. But he is the owner of a bunch of different castles, and if I had declared war against the Neretzes clan, it would have definitely made sense for me to try and persuade him, because obviously if he owns a whole bunch of fiefs, it kind of makes sense, right? But as it stands right now, we are at peace, and so it's not really going to make any difference. So I think I'm actually going to give it to Tazla, because I don't really need the money. Personally, I'm making decent money every single day anyway, and I'd kind of like him to have a bit of an advantage as well. So we are going to give him... Where is it? Did I just go right past it? Glavstrom Castle. There it is. Okay. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm very quickly going to go into the garrison here, just so that I can get a couple of units. I don't want a huge amount, but I'm just going to get a couple of units in there. And we're just going to wait here for some time while the garrison fills up slightly, because obviously when the nearby villages have decent prosperity, they have a much higher production of units, thanks to the Havoc mod, of course. So that's really going to make a big difference there. But otherwise, we just really want to make sure that this doesn't get taken again. You know, we really want to make sure of that. So I think the food situation's pretty good. As you can see, security is not so good. But yeah, food and militia are going up now. And I think it's probably absolutely fine for me to transfer ownership over to him. So let's do that. There we go. And that's also going to increase our relation with him too, so he has a much less likely chance of defecting against us. Obviously, if you modify those settings at all in Allegiance Overhaul, then you can make it respond any way you want, basically. So, for example, what I've done is I've made it so that enemy vassals, or shall we say, yeah, actually, all vassals, have a percentage chance to leave at a certain threshold of relation. So if they have a certain amount of relation, they will never ever leave their lieges. So, and I made that very high, by the way. I made it 90 or 95, so it's going to be very difficult for anyone to persuade them away, but it can happen still. And so that's the thing. That's the reason also why gaining relation with these guys is definitely going to make a big difference. Because in general, even if I wasn't using Allegiance Overhaul, it's going to make a difference in the actual persuasion minigame. I mean, I've seen that multiple times now, where if I have zero relation with a person, or even in the negative, they're going to be unlikely, shall we say. They're going to be unlikely to allow me to succeed with my conversation options. Let alone, you know, letting me get through to the persuasion minigame. Because if I do get through to the minigame, then it's all down to percentages at that point, and relation helps with those percentages. That's what I found in my experiences so far. But, yep. Anyway, let me see here. Let me see if I can... I'm wondering whether I should just allow one wall to go down and then just to rush in there. I don't think we really need to do that, right? No, I don't think we really need to do that. So, both walls are down. Let's just go straight on in. I mean, basically, there are no enemies here to really provide us with any kind of defense at all to fight against, because they just... Well, there's only 160, you know. There's only 160 here. I kind of feel sorry for these guys, to be honest, because they're very much fighting against a far superior force, and they can't really do much about it. But I suppose, you know, that's where the cards have fallen. I suppose, you know, they have to defend it. And these guys are trying to shoot me from all the way over there. And I think we can just speed up the rest. As you can see, we've just swarmed over them completely in, well, I wouldn't say record time, but I would definitely say in a very, very fast way. Anyway, there we go. 28 renown for us. Ooh, nice troops. Yes, give me those troops. Thank you very much. And that is actually going to enable me a very easy garrison. So I'm going to show mercy right here once again, because what I want to do is I want to place these units in here. Thankfully, all of my units are locked at the moment, so all I need to do is just click transfer all, which is actually amazing. I really, really love that particular system. And we can now place a bunch of gold in here as well. There we go. All right, great. And oh, wow, this is actually looking pretty nice. I mean, apart from the prosperity, every single other thing is looking pretty good. And I'm actually really surprised that these upgrades are not really that far along. I would have actually expected these upgrades to be much further, because, I mean, I'm not entirely sure how many times this castle has changed hands, but obviously quite often, because, well, they only had 167 in the garrison here. It kind of makes sense, right? Anyway, let's go to the improved garrison, and let's give a bunch. I'm just going to do 100. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because I'm going to be switching ownership of the castle in due time. Probably going to be giving that to Dazzler again as well. Feel like that kind of makes sense. Oh, Glavstrom is being... See, now, this is the main reason why I actually wanted to make peace with those guys, right? With the Kingdom of Samissos, because they're literally making themselves into a huge thorn in our side. Or maybe not, because they just got themselves taken prisoner, which, I mean, they did deserve that, to be fair, because they were attempting to raid one of my villages, and I do not appreciate that one bit. I offered them peace, and maybe we want to do that again, you know? Maybe we want to do that again and say, hey, do you want some peace? Yeah, I mean, I'd like it, because that would mean that we don't have to worry about them actually attacking our villages and raiding our villages and so on and so forth. So it would actually be kind of nice. But Yeah, as I said, it's kind of up to them at this point. Oh, yeah, I also needed to place... oh, no, I already did that. I already placed them in the garrison. Oh, I completely forgot. Okay, so let's give this fief, which is this one, over to Tasla. That's going to give him another fief and a little bit of influence gain. And there we have it. Okay, so that's going to be it for this episode. And in the next one, oh, look at that. In the next one, we are actually going to almost be eliminating another one of these Sturgian factions. And I'm actually not entirely sure. Do you think we have now reached a point where our faction is completely unstoppable? I'm actually not entirely sure, because there are a number of factions that could still make alliances against us. There are a few factions that have a pretty decent combat strength, and in the time that it takes me to expand, let's just say that I completely ignore these territories right here to the direct south of us and to the southwest, and I go through the northern territories, and I take all of this stuff. Do you think by that point another faction is going to have taken over their particular territory and then also become relatively strong? So it's eventually going to be a case of maybe a free-for-all between 3 different factions, maybe 4 different factions, depending. But I'm going to be interested to see that. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.